bridge. We are 552 feet above the Straits of Mackinac, atop the Mackinac Bridge. And I want some very special guests up here. We made the climb up the rather cavernous elevator and catwalk with Bob Sweeny, the man who runs the bridge. That was an unbelievable trip. I don't know how you guys do it.
Oh yeah, they love coming up here every day. As you can see, the views like we have right now, that's worth the trouble getting through the elevators in the openings.
It is indeed. Dave Lorenz made the trip, the man who runs Travel Michigan, the vice president. This is pure Michigan, isn't it?
It certainly is pure Michigan, and more than just this iconic bridge that really means so much to the people from Michigan and people who visit here. This is really a symbol of vision and of people with bravery, to people who have the grit to get things done. That's the Michigan story, and you get to experience it every time you cross this bridge. We're very blessed.
I want you to think about this now. This bridge is 60 years old this year. The people who built it 60 years ago didn't have CAD programs, didn't have computers. You know, they were operating with their hands. And when we heard the story from Shorty Gleason, the man who, well, we'll do the short version. He's the lobbyist for the labor industry, for the building trades, and a good friend, and he's the one who put this all together for us to get us permission to come up. Your dad was a steel worker who worked on this bridge and helped build it. That's got to give you just an incredible sense of pride.
It certainly does, Frank. First of all, a little clarification, he was an iron worker. There's always a little inside deal between us and the steel workers, but yeah, he was extremely proud to be part of this with his courageous brothers from Iron Workers Local 25, 783, and Local 340.
So tell me about the bridge and building it. You told us about the rivets that we see in the bridge and how many there are and how they were installed, because they didn't have, portably powered jackhammers.
Well, you stop and think about it. There's over 5 million hand-driven rivets in this bridge. And you try to put that into perspective of just how much coal and coke it took to heat 5 million rivets. You take into perspective that heater had to get that to the right temperature. The guy pulling it from the heater, throwing it up with tongs to the guy with a catch can standing up there on a scaffolding, catch it, throw it in the hole, hurry up, put the buck up on the end of it, then the driver put it into place. And you stop and think about that 5 million times, it's unbelievable. And you take into consideration the main cables here, 12,580 individual pieces of wire separated into the anchor piers to put it all together. But the amazing part of this bridge is on time and on budget. And with all this talk in today's politics about skilled trades, do we need them? Is apprenticeships worth it? Well, let me tell you, when the iron workers started this project, the very first thing they did was start a satellite apprenticeship school that Don Nohow for come up here one day a week to train all the young men and women in this area that wanted to be iron workers. And what a feat it was.
Well, what a feat indeed. It's one of the classic iconic structures, not just in Michigan, but everywhere in the Midwest and actually in the United States. Roger Curtis is in charge of business development and jobs for the state of Michigan now, and he's up here. You're a lot skinnier than I am, so that crawl up the catwalk with no problem.
No problem, but I do want to emphasize what Dave Lorenz said. Bravery of the people who built this. I'm not very good with heights. I can't imagine what it was like for those professional trade workers out here working on this bridge and putting it all together. What an amazing feat this is.
Well, the amazing thing, we're going to do it all over again very soon with the Gordie Howe Bridge.
I know, and so we need to talk about apprenticeships in this state. We need to talk about professional trades. It's bridges like this one and the Gordie Howe Bridge and a lot of other projects we've done in Michigan that show really it's true art when you bring engineering and the professional trades together to do something like this, and that's what Michigan is known for. And we need to do it again, so we need to talk about apprenticeships and get more people in them.
Exactly right. And the thing about the apprenticeships is all of the trades have these apprentice programs, Shorty, and if people would just look them up, and it's not that hard to qualify for them. If you can do basic math and you get a clean drug test, you've got a great career in store for you.
There's no question about it. And one thing that's very unique about our apprenticeship training centers, not one penny of taxpayers' money go to fund that. That's all done between the workers and our contractor associations. And you know what? We've been in business in this state for over 100 years. We do it better than anybody else.
Well, I want you to know something, that when we talk about these jobs and the fact that these apprenticeship programs are used without tax money, so is the bridge. And Bob, that is one of the amazing things to me is you operate this bridge. You have over 100 employees who work here on a daily basis and don't use a cent of taxpayer money, even though the state owns this property.
Yeah, that's right. We use our budget comes 100% from the tolls that we collect on the bridge, and 100% of that stays on the bridge as well. So we have a fund balance that's going to take care of our bridge deck replacement project coming up here, and we make sure that we maintain our budget so it's ample enough to take care of the projects that we have out on the bridge.
Let's talk a little bit about that plan, because in 2024 you're going to start work on this redecking of the bridge.
Yeah, 2024 we're going to remove the suspension section of the bridge, and when I say remove, we're going to do it in segments. We plan on having 188 work days where our contractor will come in, replace a 40-foot section, and then go back to his shop and work on the next section before he comes back out a few days later to do another section. So that'll be a feat in itself, a logistical challenge for anybody that takes that on.
You know, before we came up here, we had a video presentation from you in your conference room, and I was only half kidding when I said, could you have one of these for our politicians to teach them how to do this within budget and without having to float bonds?
Sure. You know, every year we get to do a little bit of politicking when the politicians come up for the Mackinac Policy Conference. So we give them the very similar presentation to the one that you saw today. So they get a little feel for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I tell you what, we look ahead to the redecking of the Mackinac Bridge. All I can tell you in closing up here, Roger Curtis, it's going to be marvelous to see another bridge being built, but this is a special experience up here, isn't it?
Well, this is special because, as Shorty said, this was done 60 years ago, and so you got to put your mind and think about what it was like and how much the technology has changed and what the Gordie Howe Bridge is going to be compared to this. But then you think about the people who are going to build that bridge, and 60 years from now, they're going to say, "Oh, technology's changed so much. Gordie Howe was so hard to build." So that's the evolving thing about engineering and professional trades, and it's great here in Michigan.
Indeed. Shorty, I just got one more question for you. Since your dad worked on the Mackinac Bridge as an iron worker, not a steel worker, an iron worker,
Thank you, sir.
are you going to work on the Gordie Howe Bridge?
Well, let me tell you, I probably won't work on it, but I had the opportunity to put all the labor groups together for the Blue Water Bridge that we put up in 1996. So, but you can be rest assured, my son will be working on the Gordie Howe Bridge.
Beautiful. Glad to hear. Thank you for doing this for us. And Dave Lorenz, I don't know what to add. We're all going to post pictures everywhere on Facebook, on our web pages, Twitter, you name it. It was a very, very special experience to be on top of Michigan like this.
It's true. Well, and you know, the great thing is, as special as this experience is for us to be on top of the South Tower right now, the view is not that much different than it is when you're just driving over the bridge. You have this spectacular view.
Well, minus 550 feet.
That's
Actually,
only
only
feet.
350 feet because the deck is about 200 feet above the water.
But you still see the beauty of the Straits of Mackinac, these two peninsulas coming together. This bridge brings us together, literally and figuratively, and you can be a part of that just by driving up here. Come on up to the UP, you're going to love it.
Indeed. Bob Sweeny, thank you so much. Keep up the great work. Can't wait to see it after you've redone the deck. It'll be a job well done and on time and within budget. We know
In
that.
budget. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you so
It's a pleasure
much.
having you.